Hello, happy Wednesday, my peaceful and profitable entrepreneurs. So good to be here. Just adjust this a little bit. Yes, that is my Mother's Day balloon in the background. It says best mom ever. I'm gonna keep it as long as I can. It was a gift from my aunt. Apparently Publix was giving them away at the end of the day on Mother's Day. So that's how I got that lovely balloon. Because she knows I would never want her to spend like $20 on a balloon. But she made it a point to let me know they were giving them away. So I was like, cool, thanks. I'll take the best mom ever. So it's just fun to see that. But happy belated Mother's Day to all of you who are mothers in any shape or form. Fur babies, it all counts. Happy Mother's Day to you. I hope y'all had an amazing day. So today I'm really excited. We are talking about if you feel like your marketing isn't working and 5 things that you can do. So I really like these conversations to be supportive to y'all. I want them to give y'all some really good takeaways. And so that is literally kind of a term that I hear pretty frequently if it's not working or, kind of some version of that. So that's why I wanted to have this conversation. So we will dive in a minute. A couple housekeeping things. This thing's swinging around. Recently, in the past few months, I live with entrepreneurs all around me. I know a ton of people in the community that are entrepreneurs, and there has been a lot of people that are getting their accounts hacked. That is not a fun thing to talk about. It's not a fun thing to experience, but I just want to bring that here and just remind people, really be like scrutinizing, kind of what you're opening. If someone DMs you and they're like, hey, vote for me in this, send an email to this, email, like that's the kind of stuff we really need to take a pause and make sure that we are discerning. Any emails that you get that are like, hey, your account has been hacked or whatever, like make sure you look at the email address and that you double check like where it's coming from. I get that a ton in my personal account, like your Instagram, your PayPal, your even accounts that I don't even have been hacked, when I look and it's like from something at Gmail. Amazon, that happens to me a lot with Amazon, but really be discerning. Some of the business owners I know, they've gone through hell and back with this. One of them just that happened last week. I got a DM from her saying, hey, vote for me in this, send an email to this. And, it's just this very grabby energy. And so just always be sure to be discerning and make sure that, you're not taking the bait on that and being really careful. So that feels important to say, just because that stuff happens all the time. But I feel like recently it's just been, I've noticed it with people that I know a lot more. So I just wanted to bring that here. If you jump on live today or catch the replay, say hello, ask your questions. I want this to be supportive to you. I want you to get a ton of good stuff from this. So anyone who leaves a comment or an emoji or question is entered to win. I'm giving away my How I Pay Myself 10K months and 5 questions that you can ask for your own 5-figure business. So that's just a really fun giveaway, and I just want to thank you so much for being here because I know we're all busy and there's tons of places you can be online. So if you're here live or catching the replay, thank you so much again. So let's dive in. So, I worded it, feel like your marketing isn't working, because I like to use that in quotation marks because sometimes, and I like to walk through my framework of mindset, strategy, organize, implement. And of course, we're going to start with the mindset first because sometimes it is working. Sometimes nothing is wrong, but we think it's not working because we don't have we're not fully booked out with clients, or we're not making $20,000 to $30,000 to $40,000 a month. Like whatever that is, we think it's not working, but actually, nothing may be wrong. This is when I tell people, I always like to keep a little booklet and write down things that are going right and going well, because sometimes, what I'm bringing to the work with my one-to-one clients is we're looking at is it not working, or is it just not getting you the result that you want? Because that is a huge difference, and that is something to really look at in your own business and discern, is it not working? Because all these marketing tactics work, Facebook groups work, email marketing works, posting online, all of it just fundamentally works. And so if someone's sitting there and they're like, well, that doesn't work for me, then it's is it you, or this just works for everyone, but it's just not getting the result that you want, or, some other strategic things that we're going to look at today. But that's what I really want to start with, is that this is all something that we are testing and tweaking and refining. This never ends. That's the amazing part of being a business owner, and sometimes kind of the frustrating part, that people want to just kind of set something on autopilot and like just do the same thing over and over and over forever. But sometimes like your, audience changes, or the economy changes, or, a million other factors, algorithms change, what the platforms are pushing change. Like, we have to be able to test and tweak and roll with it before we say that it's not working. So that's the first thing that I like to start with people, with my clients when they come and they're frustrated, or anyone on a free call. Really look and see, like, is it really not working, or are you not getting the result that you want? And then, we'll talk about the strategic things as well. So let me know if you have any questions about that. And then also, like, there's no such thing as failure. Like, and that's another thing about being a business owner. Like, yes, I can sit here and say that, like, I have all these great results and I'm almost fully booked, and I make over $10,000 a month that I pay myself, and like, there was a long road up to that point, and there are still things that I'm testing and tweaking now. Like, I'm not just like sitting on my laurels and like basking in everything. Like, I definitely have created ease in my business and definitely created a process that works, and I'm still always kind of refining that. And then anything that you look at as a failure, I think is just such a missed opportunity to see, like, there is no such thing in failure. Like, there's always going to be things behind the scenes with every business that don't work, that not everyone is talking about. And not that they're trying to hide anything, but it's just literally like, okay, they just move on. Like, it's not like they're sitting there stewing about it and they need to talk about it all day long. It's literally like, okay, let's keep going. What's next? So that's the mindset piece that I want to bring to you, and really challenge you and lovingly invite you to get clear on, is it not working, or is it just I'm not getting the result that I want, or I have these expectations that everything should go off without a hitch. I think that online space is amazing, and I think with the huge influx of people that it brought in during COVID, I was one of those businesses that was here as an online business working at home before COVID, so that was just a nice thing to have, and it just had a ton of people come into the space. And a lot of them get kind of confused about, like, this shouldn't be hard, or I should be able to just set this and forget it and put it on autopilot. And like, that's just not a thing. Like, the online business and online space is amazing, and yet it's still a business like any other business. Like, brick and mortar still have their ups and downs, their ebbs and flows, testing and tweaking, things not working, refining this. Like, that happens no matter what, if you're in the online space or not. So just remembering that, like, business things still apply, even if we are here in the online space and we are a service provider, but just not letting that, like, bring you down or frustrate you. Just realizing, like, this is just a piece of being a business owner, and I just need to navigate this and get really good at that. And so again, that is a part that I like really support my one-to-one clients with, because they easily, and all of us, our brains just forget that things actually are working, and then they're like, I booked a client last week, but then this week they already like forgot about it. Like, our brains are really funny like that, and we kind of sweep the good things under the rug and we remember the bad things. So I always like to be that mirror to them and reflect to them and like show them with the data and the numbers, like, literally, this is working. It may not look like the huge, like, thousands of followers that you want, but are you almost fully booked? Yeah. Okay. Well, then it's working. Or we're building that momentum to get it to work. So that's kind of the first piece about that. I want to talk about mindset. The second thing, we'll move into strategy. And so I said 5 things you can do this week, and then I have like some I call them sub accounts, but kind of offshoots of that, just because I wanted to keep it to 5, but I have a lot to say. So the second thing is, with the strategy piece, is notice when people are dropping off. So if you feel like your marketing isn't working, let's look specifically, where are people dropping off? And this is when data is just so helpful, and defining your sales process and knowing what that process is and being able to see people come through that. Because we're really wanting to look at where's the kink in the hose. So this could look like, if you're looking at your like reports in Looker Studio or Google Analytics, and you're like, okay, I like to build funnels, like conversion funnels for people. Like, are people taking the action that we're wanting them to? So if if someone's like, it's not working, then we're looking at like, okay, what is the conversion rate on this? And the conversion rate might be good. Maybe it's like 50%, maybe half the people do it. But if we aren't getting enough traffic there, then like, that's the kink in the hose. Whereas like maybe we look at it and there's tons of people going to the website, tons of people going to the landing page, but people aren't taking that next step and that next action, then that's the kink in the hose. So really like looking at specific places in your sales process, like are you getting people on calls? And then the next point is to see, okay, are they taking the next step? Are they buying from you? Speaking to their objections, like are they getting stuck there? Are they not even getting on the calls? Or are you making the offer and then they're not taking you up on it? Like look at your sales process, like literally lay it out. You can do this in your head, you can do it on a piece of paper, you can do an Excel spreadsheet, like what's the journey that people are going through? And then look at each piece to dissect, like, are people dropping off here? Okay, cool. I'm getting a lot of eyes to my landing page, but people aren't taking the action. So let's like update the landing page. Let's check up, change the messaging. Let's speak to objections at the bottom. Like, can we see if they're scrolling all the way down? Can we see if they're clicking on something? Like, do we have the price listed? Or if we don't have the price listed, they have to click on this and then they see the price and then they leave. Like, where is that drop off piece? That's like part of the work that I love doing with my clients. Like we're looking at QuickBooks, we're looking at their point of sales, we're looking at Google Analytics. I've got all these dashboards created in Looker Studio so that we have this information. We're doing like UTM strategy so we can see where traffic is coming from, what's getting what results. It's just really fun and so empowering. And so that is like the first strategy piece of literally seeing where are the people dropping off, where's the kink in the hose, and then kind of brainstorming and ideating from there. So that feels very clear, but if you have questions, let me know, like anything specific to your business, let me know. We can help you out there. So then the next thing that I recommend you to do, you've done all that, gotten your mindset, noticing where people drop off, then look at your marketing like you don't know anything about the business. Like pretend you're a third party, look at your customer journey, like, look at your website, really try to come in like you're a brand new person, or even have a brand new person come in, someone that you trust, a coach, or, someone else that, knows your business and knows you, and have them look at it and have that like outsider third party perspective. Because sometimes we may think something is like super clear, like this is so obvious, of course people are going to buy this, or this like to me is something that's just a no-brainer, like why isn't it selling? But someone else can literally walk in and be like, I don't understand this piece, or this isn't making sense, so really have that kind of like step back look. Look at the sales process. I compare it to dating. You wouldn't ask someone to marry you like right off the bat. So look at your sales process. Like, are you asking people to marry you right off the bat? Like, can you give them a little bit and a nice little easy step and then another nice little easy step? And this is actually so important. I'm doing a masterclass this month on it. So later this month, the last Wednesday, you can get signed up. We're going to go all in on your sales process because I see this happen all the time. People are like expecting someone to jump from zero to thousands of dollars, like right off the bat. And so many times that is what's keeping someone stuck from booking clients, is because they have this huge gap. So look at your sales process, look at your marketing, look at your, website, everything from an outside perspective to see like, is this clear? Is this an easy next step for them? Am I speaking to their objections? Like, is the offer clear? Is what's, the value clear? Are my, why me clear? Like, look at all of that. Like, you just walked in, you don't know who this business is, you don't know anything about it, and just try to get super clear. And again, that's when like an outside perspective, a coach, someone can support you to do that and just see things, see holes, see gaps that maybe you just never would have thought of. And so that kind of flows into my like subtext of this. And this is refining your messaging. So you may think that your messaging is super clear, but a lot of times if your marketing isn't working, it's because of messaging. So really look at your messaging. Do you understand your audience? Do you understand their pain points? And this is a great opportunity that, if you haven't done free calls, or if you haven't been really like talking to people, in person, like it's a great opportunity to do that. Get some market research. I mean, I love free calls. I'm a huge fan of them. I love providing value in that way. And I love just getting, research to know like, what are my people like wanting to hear? What are their pain points? Like, I want to be able to support them for that. And the best way to do that is to literally hear it come out of their mouth. So this is again what I tell clients and, anyone I'm doing an intensive with or one-to-one, like get really clear on your messaging and let's really dial that in and hone that in, because you can create tons of content, but like if it's not landing with people, then it's just going out into the void. I talk about consistent content all the time, and like part of that is really refining the message. And you can see this journey with clients sometimes of like they're really getting good at their messaging, and so that's just a really fun thing to see. But refining your messaging, if you're feeling like your marketing isn't working, people aren't converting, go back to your messaging. That's when I would just really create like a Word document or a notepad and like write down what makes you different from everyone else that offers what you offer, because we all offer something that like, you could, I don't know, swing, it's a terrible expression. I heard it in college, this guy's like, you could swing a dead cat and hit whatever, you could swing a dead cat and hit, 15 business coaches, but why me? Speaking to what I bring to the table, like what makes me different. So I'm not just selling you on business coaching, but why me? And so think about that for your business. Like no matter what you do, whether you're helping getting people's teeth whitened, or you're helping babies sleep, or you're helping train dogs, or you're helping plan weddings, or you're helping train people to be dentists, like whatever any of that is, think about like there are tons of people doing the same thing that you are, but why would someone choose you? And this can be a really sticky piece for people. I work with people on this all the time because it's hard to toot our own horn. We have to really go deep and like know ourselves and get really sold on ourselves first in order to bring this to our messaging. So that is just a huge piece, that if you're feeling like marketing isn't working, go deep and get sold on yourself. Figure out why you, out of all these other people online, out of anyone else that could be, purchased, like you're not just selling your services of teeth whitening. You're not just selling your services of wedding planning. You're not selling your services of, helping sleep training. Like this is all like you are the person to support them in this, because you can sell them on that service, but they can go hire someone else if they're not sold on why you. So really dial in your messaging, like get super clear on why you, what you bring to the table, what your framework is, what the process is when you work with people, before they work with you, after they work with you, like get really honed in on that. So it's not just like, here's all the fancy bells and whistles of what this container has or what you're purchasing, but like, here is why me, and I'm the best person to support you. So dial in your messaging. And this piece takes time. It takes, really working with yourself and being sold on yourself. And sometimes people get stuck because they're not sold on themselves. And if they're not sold on themselves, no one else can be. Like it's not up to our potential client or potential customer to like sell us on ourselves. We need to be sold on ourselves and why what we're doing is so different than what anyone else is doing like us, and we're the person to support them. And that's what like I try to dial in with my messaging. Like so many coaches don't have this numbers and data background, and so many advisors don't have this mindset and coaching piece that I have. So I love talking about my framework, mindset, strategy, organize, implement. Like I'm always talking about that, because I'm not just trying to sell people on just business coaching in general or advisory coaching or bookkeeping, whatever it is, but I'm trying to speak to why me and why I am so, special, why I'm a unicorn, why I'm the best person to support them. So really, and this is a journey for me too. Like this is not just something I'm one and done. Like I'm to the point now where I have tons of content written. I love to repurpose some stuff, especially now that I'm like, yes, I have a huge content bank. But I'll look back at some pieces of content and I'm like, this just falls flat. Like this is not speaking to my, audience. This isn't like tooting my own horn. This isn't speaking to why me. So I can take that and kind of refine it a little bit. And so next year when I'm, going through this new content I'm creating now, I'm gonna be like, whoa, I'm like light years, changed since then. And my messaging has gotten so much better. So this is something we're just constantly like on a journey to refine. And it's just a fun journey, like looking at it as an exciting and going into it with enthusiasm, that like we get to speak to our people in such a personal, specific way, and what just a gift that is. I mean, if we were a W-2 employee for someone else, we're just, not a wheel in the cog necessarily, but sometimes we are. And so it's just amazing to be an entrepreneur and get to do this thought leadership and speak to like why you are the person to really impact them and solve their problem, because, no matter what you do, I know you're solving someone's problem. And so that can change their life. Like there's just so many things that we don't think about. We're like, oh yeah, I'll just help them with this, but like literally it can change their life. Even like from my bookkeeping perspective, like when I just did the bookkeeping, I had a client that was like, you saved my marriage. Like tax prep was hell. My husband prepared it and my books were a mess. And like, we get in these huge fights, and it's just like, just me from my, what I considered simple bookkeeping, that was just like a huge game changer in her life. And even with the one-to-one work I do now, like, it is so amazing to see like stuff that I think is so simple and so basic. I'm like, we just increased a client's net profit by $13,000 because they had a bunch of expenses categorized incorrectly. Like, that makes a huge difference on their books. It's not more cash in their bank. They still have to pay that. But when they're looking at their profit and loss, like, they have so much more money than they thought they did. They're sitting there like, what am I doing wrong? What's going on? And it's like, well, here's $13,000 because this was literally wrong. So just looking at it from, what I try to speak to, and, the results that I can see as possible for clients, and bring that forward in my messaging, like, it's just so powerful and it's so fun. And I know that you have that same skill set in your business, that you are changing people's lives with what you do. So please dial in your messaging, because not only is it good for business and getting you clients and getting more revenue, but it's also just going to help you create more change in the world. And I'm sure that's why you went into creating a business, because you saw this problem that people had. And you're like, I can help you with that. I'm good at this. This is what I love to do. Please let me help you. Like, we want to create more change and, just make the world a better place. So please dial in your messaging so you can get more clients and cash, but also just so you can like make the world a better place and support other humans. So that's my rant about that one. Went down a rabbit hole, but dial in your messaging. And that's something, if you need support with, I do intensives on this stuff. I love working with people one-to-one in a kind of a short-term basis to do this. We have one left this month and then 2 in June. So if you are wanting support like that, I am such a good person to support you with that, because I love this. Obviously, I get really excited about it. I love being that person to lovingly like pull this stuff out of my clients so that they can really get clear on what they offer. So that's that piece. So the fourth thing that we'll go into is take accountability for your lack of interest. So this is something that I don't see that often, but I do see people, and this kind of goes back to that piece about people coming into the online space and thinking that it's just going to be easy. I can just put some posts out here. I can set up like a funnel in my email thing, and people are just going to line up, fall all over themselves and want my offer. And that just doesn't happen. I mean, that's great if it does for you, but typically I don't see that happen. Like, I get on my calls with people and they're like, I'm offering this free audit for this, and no one, signed up for it. And it's like, well, I saw that post because I follow them, and I'm like, you didn't sell it. Like, you just kind of laid it out there like, yeah, this is free. And, everyone's supposed to fall all over it because it's free. And that's just not really how it works. Most people are busy. Like, you really even have to sell them on the free stuff. You have to tell them the results that they can expect. Tell them what they can just get out of the container. Like, literally, what does it look like? I put on my website for my free call, down at the bottom, I'm like, if you still aren't sure if this is for you, like, literally, this is what the call looks like. Like, this is how we start. This is what we do. This is how it ends. Just to give them like a framework. Like, if they've never been on a free call and they're like, I don't know how the hell this works, like, that's how it works. And so really creating that, if it's a free offer or a sold offer, like, not blame your audience, but look how you can make it better. Like, how can you communicate the value to them? How can you meet them where they are? How can you know their objections and speak to those, and, kind of hold their hand through this process? Because you might be a random person. Maybe you were referred by someone, and so they kind of have that nice kind of warmer engagement with you. Or maybe you're just a random person on the internet and they need a little bit more TLC. And so not looking at it from, oh, my audience doesn't want this, they don't get it, whatever, that kind of like lack of accountability and interest, but really looking at how you can like bring them on this journey and create safety for them, how you can make it easy for them, how you can outline it for them, really look at, and that's kind of going back to that piece about, looking at your business and your process from like a third party perspective. Like, really, how can you make it better for them, make it a better experience for them, whether they buy from you or not. So that's, number 4 is just take accountability, not blame our audience. If they're not taking us up on our offer, even if it's free, like, not being like, what's wrong with you? Like, this is free. Of course, why wouldn't you take this? But really look at like, what do I need to do to help them know like why this is going to help them so much. So that's the 4th one. And again, this can go back to messaging. Like, do you know your audience? Do you know their pain points? Do you know what their objections might be? Like, that's when this all kind of gets like woven together, and we're kind of sprinkling this into everything that we do, because it's so much a part of the messaging piece. I know that a lot of people, when they have objections, if you're speaking to objections on the front end, it can make the sales process so much easier because you've already addressed all their concerns. Like if they land on your landing page and you're speaking to their objections right there, then they're probably more likely to book a call because they feel seen and heard, and you've kind of already walked them through, why they wouldn't book that call. So really look at that piece. Make sure that you're speaking to that. And then number 5, obviously this is so important to me. I have a whole free call about it. Keep up the consistency. So maybe you just don't have enough stuff out there. Maybe you just started like 3 months ago or 2 weeks ago and it feels like forever. You feel like you've been doing it forever. Why don't I have results yet? But like, if you don't have like 3, 6, 9 months of stuff out there, you just literally might not have enough stuff yet. And this is why I offer my free consistent content for consistent 5-figure months calls, because this is such a game changer. Having content out there on multiple platforms and multiple places daily in different ways so that people can consume it. Like maybe they want to do a 30-minute video with you. Maybe they just want to watch a quick Instagram story. Maybe they just want to watch a reel, or maybe they're reading a post on Facebook. Like whatever that is, have that content out there in multiple ways so that whatever their life and their schedule permits, they can consume that. So making sure if they want these like more in-depth pieces, they can join you and get like a longer format or a long blog post or a long email. Like maybe they save it in their inbox for when they're ready and they're like, oh, I'm going to sit and drink my coffee and read this, or maybe it's just the quick Instagram stories, but really meeting them where they are and just kind of knowing your audience. Like I know that my audience are busy people. Most of them are parents. They have these schedules where they're not necessarily like sitting down at a desk all day. So I'm trying to meet them where they are. I'm trying to put, different types of content out there. I put this here and it's long, and then we put it on the website if they want to consume it there, or if it's in your inbox, if you want to have that there. There's always different ways to consume like different pieces of content, and I really want to meet people where they are. So think about how you can do that. Maybe your people are busy and they don't want to watch an hour and a half long live stream. So think about how can you create, kind of these longer, more in-depth pieces of content for them, and still have those quick, like here's a quick read on Instagram where you can get some value or some humor or learn about your why, or stories. Like they're a great place to sell in stories. So have like some personal stuff, then follow it up with the sales stuff so that people are kind of getting their eyes on all of it. So thinking about like just keeping the consistency up, keeping it out there. And I know that this is such a hard thing to do. I talk to business owners all the time about this, and that's why I have this call. And especially as we're going into the months, the summer months, kids are getting out of school, they're going to be in camps and different schedules and going on vacation. Like it can be really hard to keep that consistency up, especially if you're someone that's like, I've already had a hard time keeping consistent, and now the summer is going to come and my schedule is going to change and I don't know what to be doing on this day and what. But like creating that ahead of time makes it so easy. So I really invite you to book the free consistent content for consistent 5-figure months call. If you're feeling like I'm already not consistent right now with my schedule being set, how am I going to carry that through the summer? How do I not go black during these months? How do I still give my thought leadership? How do I still give value? Then how do I still sell on top of that? Because you can make money while you're on vacation. You can book clients while you're gone. Like it happens all the time. And I would love to support you to create a plan so that you can keep that consistent content going out, so that you can still have clients. You can still come back in August, when your schedule's back to normal and you're like, I have a full roster, like that is amazing. And that's what I want for you. So I'll put the link below. We are going to be doing these super limited for the rest of May and June. I'm leaving in July. So be sure you book your call, before that, because at a certain point I'm going to cut them off and we won't start up until August. So if you're thinking, hey, I want some support, I want to go into the summer with a really clear plan so I know what I'm doing and when, and I don't have to worry about it, book the call and I'll see you there. So we will wrap it up. We were nice in 30 minutes today. If you feel like your marketing isn't working, the 5 things to start with is the mindset piece. Is it really not working? Really? Or is it just not getting the results that you want? Because those are 2 very different things. Have someone support you in that if you need to. The second one is notice, where are people dropping off? So you have this whole beautiful sales process. Where are people getting stuck? What is the kink in the hose? The third thing is look at your marketing from an outside perspective. Get outside support with a coach. Get someone you're really close to and trust to look at your stuff with you and have that different perspective of like, this is kind of a missing piece, or I don't really understand this, or why would I do this, or why does it cost this? Like, really have that outside third-party objective eye so that you can look and see kind of where the gaps might be, what needs to be filled in. And then, just take accountability. Like, it's not up to your audience to like talk them out of their, talk themselves out of their objections. It's not up to them to figure all this out. It's not up to them to figure out like, this is an offer that sells itself. Like, take responsibility for what you're putting out there and what you're communicating. Take responsibility for your messaging, hone it in, and get really clear on it. And then number 5, keep up the consistency. Book a free call if you need some support with that. I love doing it. It's 30 minutes. It's free. You'll walk away with action steps you can use and implement so that you can create a framework to go into the summer and know that you're going to have content always going out, because it is a game changer. I talked about this a couple months ago, but literally my revenue doubled from March 2022 to 2023, and my offers were the same. But it was because I was showing up, I was providing value, I was selling, I was doing all this consistently, and it just had that time frame, it had that momentum to just create those results. So that's why it's so important. So I hope y'all have a great rest of your week. We'll be back next week, and then I'll put the link below for the free call if you want to grab those before they're gone and we take a break for a while. So have a great rest of your week. Thanks.